Welcome to a new edition of the Famous Interviews with Joe Dimino. On this episode, we talk with professional growth guru and founder of Activo Coaching, Marcos Vargas. Born in the Dominican Republic, these days he is in America and specializes in total life coaching. It has been his experience that the mind is a powerful tool, but it can be just as damaging as it is motivating if it is not properly programmed. His story began in 2012 when he was working construction. He built custom homes for a living for many years. He ended up getting out of that business, and over time he suffered multiple heart attacks and found his true calling in life. We get into all of this and so much more. Enjoy the interview.
Thank you for taking a minute out to the show today, man. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for the invitation, man. I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, you bet, man. So before we get into your life in coaching, you're a professional growth guru. I want to know, especially now that we look at the calendar and it's March, 3 years ago, everything ground to a halt. It threw us into a different time. How did you survive that COVID period, and how has it changed the way that you live your life and conduct business now?
Well, before I used to work with clients one-on-one before COVID, and with COVID I have to adapt. I have to evolve into doing things differently. So the challenge for me was, what do I do now that I cannot leave the house or I cannot go and work at the gym? What do I do? What kind of action would I take? And how do I deal with my clients? Because everybody's in panic mode. Everybody's freaking out. Everybody's concerned. Oh, my God, this and this. And my mentality was that there is always, for every problem, there is always a solution. What is the solution for my situation right now? And I decided to start growing more. Instead of staying stuck and seeing things, the limitation, I started seeing possibilities, that have time to do all the things. What are the ways that I can grow mentally, emotionally, and spiritually? Because remember, I have a heart condition, and I have to constantly keep going to the doctor. And I couldn't even go to the doctor when the COVID situation hit because they didn't allow any visitors. So it was something that was a challenge for me. Then I have, my clients calling me, freaking out, panicking. And I was like, okay, tell me 3 things that you could do right now at home. And everybody was like, I don't know. Can you do push-ups? Can you do sit-ups? Can you read a book? Focus on that, and day by day, one day at a time. So that was my mentality. That was my mindset the whole way through.
So let's get into your life now and kind of make it simplify just a bit so I understand, everybody understands exactly what you do for a living. I'm going to put you in front of a bunch of grade school kids at a career day, 3rd graders. And one of the kids looks up and one of the kids asks you, what do you do for a living? How do you answer them?
I say I'm a life coach. I'm a life coach and mindset coach. I work with people that want to improve the way they think, the way they feel, and what they do for a living. They want people that want to change the way their body look and want to take action and want to adapt a role of being either masculine or feminine.
Yeah, for sure. And I imagine that your clientele has gone up because of COVID. People are reevaluating their lives. Did business go up for you?
Business went down, actually, because I used to coach one-on-one at the gym. When COVID hit, the business went down because I was not able to be at the gym working with people. And I didn't have the system put together to do it online. But I needed to grow. Like, I needed to search within me my purpose, which was quite funny because I always knew that my purpose was to be a coach, but I was doing it one-on-one. Now, I have to learn to do it in groups where I can teach more people in less time. Instead of doing 10 people a day, through doing it online, you could do, in 2 hours, you could do 50 people, 100 in 2 hours. And that would take me forever. But it took a lot of growing. It took a lot of understanding of what if. Like, everybody called me, I lost my job, I lost this. And I was like, so let's say that COVID's not happening and you lose your job anyway, what would you do? That was the question that I always tell my clients. what do you do if you lose your job because your boss decide that he don't want to have you anymore? Because people always think my job is my savior. No, you're not. Your job is not your savior. What you do is what save you from drowning. If you're in the water and you have to breathe, you're not gonna wait for somebody to take care of you. You're gonna start moving to find a way to breathe. It's the same concept, the same principle when it comes to taking action and doing what you need to do to achieve what you want to achieve. And be in control of your own life. Because if you're not controlling of your life, if your boss is in control of your life, who's in control? It's your boss. Because at the moment that he start paying you, you're going to be lost and confused.
When you were young, when you were in the third grade, what was your dream? What did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be a boxer. I wanted to be a professional boxer. I actually fought for the Golden Gloves. Yeah, I don't box the same because I have a heart condition, but, I still go to the gym and box and hit the punching bag and train as much as I can. But I wanted to be a boxer. I was always inclined for music and artistic stuff. I was always a creator. I started building houses at a very young age with my dad because my dad was a builder. And I still wanted to be a boxer. Then my second thing was I wanted to be a singer, which I also sing and record, and I went to engineering school. But I always wanted to help people too. Like that was most of my calling was to help people. Like I always tended to help people. I always tended to be passionate about helping others. And, I was very curious on creating things. So life goes around and you like, oh, wow. But, I give you a perfect example. My son, I ask him, Daddy, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he will say, I want to be a pilot. Or what? Planes. Next week I ask him again, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a chef. He's always evolving in what he wants to become. And I think that's life. I think as grown-ups, we always becoming more when we want to grow personally. So when I have to deal with my kids, I always tell them, you have to discover where you feel centered, where you feel a peace, where you feel that you are being you. And it takes a lot of discovery and a lot of practice and a lot of trial and error. You have to try things,
Absolutely. So talk to me a little bit about where you were born and raised and where some real, specific parts of you, the seeds that God planted in you to become somebody who wants to help others and who wants to be of service.
Yeah, I was born in Dominican Republic. And my mom and my dad brought me to America when I was young. I don't remember the age, to be quite honest, but I was pretty young. And I grew up in a really good family, mom, dad, 4 brothers, 1 sister. And I was a second child. My older brother was my superhero, believe it or not. I always saw my older brother like my superhero. And my younger brother, I saw him like a super genius. And I was always in the middle. I was always the artistic, curious guy. I was always curious. Climbing trees, jumping from one rooftop to the other, just normal stuff that kids do. Trying to learn how to drive motorcycles and cars, very young, a very young age. Putting things apart. That was my childhood. And I remember having friends that had like different type of situation, and I was always like either offering them my clothes or food or shoes or toys. I was always giving away my stuff to friends that needed more than me. And my grandmother always used to tell me, you have to work with people because you love people, you love helping, you love giving. And I never paid any attention to that, but my grandmother used to say. But with time passing, I started being very at peace when I was contributing to someone's life in any way, type of form, even a conversation, a smile, having a good attitude. I always wake up with a good attitude. Then my grandmother used to go to church, and we used to go to church with her every Sunday. where you dress very nice to go to church, to listen to the Word of God. I had a lot of questions. And I started going to school to become a pastor, believe it or not. And I would say within 8 years in going to school, like 8 years, literally, I was like, I want to help people, but I don't know if this is the way God wants me to help people, because I have to do through preaching, and I believe to talking and to teaching and to living the life that you preach is how you can teach others. And that was like from kid to teenager, where I was really into the church and going to school to become a pastor. I didn't end up becoming a pastor. I became a chaplain, where I used to go to the hospital and pray for people. And I still felt like a voice inside me needed to be filled. And I discovered coaching through, I believe, Tony Robbins. That was the first person that I saw coaching, like not a preaching, was somebody coaching people and teaching people. And I was in love with it. I was like, oh, wow, this is what I want to do. But, I didn't focus on becoming a coach at that point, but I know I wanted to do that. So I started listening to a lot of material. I started studying psychology, mindset, neuro-linguistic programming, NLP. And I was just going deep into that. I was like, oh, wow, this is really cool. This is really awesome, how the human brain works. And, to me, to this day, it's like incredible seeing the way the human brain works. But I got into music, writing gospel music, and building too. I started building in New York because that's what I learned with my dad. And that's pretty much the role that I took.
So of everyone that's alive on the planet right now, I know you mentioned Anthony Robbins, but of everyone that's alive on the planet, who would you love to meet and talk to?
Oh, wow. That's a really good question, because there's so many people. I mean, there's so many people. There's one person that I have a lot of respect for, and he's my coach, Wes Watson, and I would meet him eventually. But just because he's somebody who's so positive, he's so positive. His mind is so clear on, yes, you can. He always give you that push on, yes, you can. It's possible. Do it. Get it done. That's one person. But to me, to be quite honest, everyone that I meet, to me, is an incredible experience with everyone. Like with everyone that I meet, I'm really grateful when I meet someone and I get to have a conversation with anyone. They don't have to be necessarily famous, because you'd be surprised the amount of people that enrich your life, even if they're not famous. I love talking to teachers. I love meeting teachers. I love meeting people that are veteran, the fought in the war, and, doctors, nurses, normal, regular people that will tell you stories that will blow your mind. You'd be surprised with the things that they say. But due to my situation where I suffered 4 heart attack and almost died, I tend to take everything, like, I'm very grateful with everything and everyone that I meet. Like, I'm so grateful that I'm talking to you right now. I'm super grateful of this opportunity to share a message,
Talk to me a little bit about every day we get up, we have things that we want to do, things we want to accomplish. What motivates you through the day? What gets you up and going through a day?
Well, my day start with waking up and being joyful that I was able to wake up, because nothing is a promise that you're going to wake up. Like, we go to sleep and we think we're going to wake up. We don't know if we're going to wake up or not. So when I open my eyes, I'm so grateful of everything. I'm grateful that I can breathe. I'm grateful that I can walk. I start with gratitude. I start being grateful first thing in the morning. Then, I start being grateful for people that are in my life, my wife, my kids, friends, family members that are able to walk, breathe. They're not in a hospital. When you're in a hospital for months at a time and you are in pain and discomfort and you need medication to just survive daily, when you're able to walk without any medication, when you are able to move without a machine hooked up to your body, that becomes magical. For me, it's being grateful. Then the next step is drinking water, believe it or not. Then the third step is driving to the gym, listening to an audiobook or something relaxing, then go to the gym, work out, finish the gym, do mindset. After the mindset, I create some material for my clients, work with the clients, eat something, go for a walk, and try to meditate and connect with myself. Then I go see my dad. Then I try to have a conversation with my wife. Then I go over the day and the materials and see how can I contribute, how can I bring more to the table, how can I help the kids. Like we have a really cool program that we're working on right now, and it's to teach the kids that are from 5 to 12, is to teach them how to become their own superhero, how to make mom and dad proud, how to make themselves proud. And it's pretty cool because they use the concepts the kids can understand. It's like superhero, how do they behave, how they think, how they eat. And it's teaching the parents to take part in their kids' daily activities and stay away from the phone. And it's just something really, really powerful, man. This is something really, really powerful. And I got the idea from my own son. I was taking him to school, and he was telling me, Dad, why can't parents do what we do? And I was like, what do you mean? And he just started talking, and we started creating a program, and we're almost done with it. So we're gonna be launching it next month.
So let me ask you this. We throughout our lives we gain wisdom. We learn from the things that we've lived through. If you have a dream tonight, you run into a younger version of yourself, and you could give that version of you a piece of advice based on the wisdom you've gained in your life, what would you tell your young version?
I would say to my young self, stay calm, relax, don't stress yourself. You can only control what you can control. Outside you control, don't go crazy about it. I suffered 4 heart attacks, and it was because I was so stressed trying to control things outside my control that my heart couldn't take it anymore. And I suffered 4 heart attacks, one after the other. So I would tell my young self, day by day, you can only give your best day by day. That's what you have to do every day. You give your very best day by day. You don't just give up a little bit of it. You give your best, your very best. That's all you can do. And once you give your very best, you're able to go to sleep at peace. You're able to have your own tranquility because you know you did your best. What can you do on top of your best? Once you do your best, you try for excellency. But every day, I would tell my younger self, be calm about it. Because I used to come, man. I used to be a ball of energy. I used to be so energized and always trying to do more and 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 more. And, it's not the amount of things that you do, it's the quality of it. It's being present. I wasn't present. When I was at the gym, I wanted to be at the school. When I was at the school, I wanted to be at the gym. When I was working, I wanted to be painting. I was never present. So be calm is something that I have learned, and I'm very grateful for it. Be calm and be present. Whatever you are, be present. If you are eating lunch, be present. Breakfast, be present. Working out, be present. Writing something, be present. Listening to music, be present.
So of all of the things that you've done in your life so far, what are you the proudest of?
Being a father. Being a father to me has been the most challenging thing that I've done and the most fulfilling.
So of all the clients that you've served, all the work you've done in your life, what's been one of the best responses you've got, one of the best fan letters, so to speak?
Oh, I won't say his name, but one of my clients, and he called me one day and he said, look, man, my relationship is better with my wife than ever, with my kids, and I feel good being me. And I was shocked because I always looked out to that guy. I was like, oh, wow, you're running the whole army, and you're now saying that you're proud now that you finished my coaching class. And we're still friends, Another one was a person that was going to kill herself, and she's like, you saved my life. And, I don't want to mention any names. Some clients, I have tons of letters. Some clients that used to be very depressed, they're doing great nowadays. One couple got married after they really hated each other. So it's always something. Oh, and a kid that say thank you, because my dad right now, he's been a good dad.
So everyone out there has a perception of you, an idea of who they think you are, your family, your friends, clients, and colleagues, but ultimately you live your life. You're in control of it. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I think I'm someone who's learning and discovering the best version of himself. I know I have a lot to learn. It's so much that I have to learn. And I have to be more present and more at peace every day. I'm discovering the beauty within being present and being at peace with my own self. And, you always have many challenges. We always want more as human beings. And, you want a bigger house, a bigger car, more money in the bank, more client, more this and more that. And I'm working on being at peace with being enough. So I'm the guy who's searching to grow and become. That's like my thing. That's what I see myself as a student, I would say, an everyday student that have to become more humble. I need to become more humble and more at peace.
Well said, Marcos. So if anyone out there wants to hire you, learn more about you, anything related to your world, where can they go to find out?
They can go to, they can check me on Instagram on Activo.coaching, or they can go on Google and check my page, ActivoCoaching.com. They can find me on Facebook. If anyone needs the mindset or relationship coaching or coaching when it comes to their kids, self-improvement, self-growth, they can hit me up over there.
Right on, man. Marcos, this has been wonderful. I love your energy. I love the way your philosophy on life. Thank you for opening up. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you for the invitation. I really love it, man. Thank you so much. I'm grateful that you invited me. It's a big deal to me to be here with you. It's a really big deal. You won't believe how much of a big deal it is, but I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thanks for tuning in to another famous interview with Joe Dimino, where we cover the world of art, literature, business, spirituality, music, and more from around the globe. If you want to hear more interviews, visit the Famous Interviews with Joe Dimino channel on YouTube. You can find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Thanks again for listening, and until next time.